What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm confused.
That's Michael. We're here to talk about Loki, episode 3 and 4.
And 4. Stuff just happened, so we weren't able to do episode 3 when it came out. But it kind of works out because the two episodes kind of go together.
Well, I mean,
a little bit.
The whole series goes together. Could have waited.
I guess so, but I mean, I feel like these two really work together as
you walk right
as
into
a part 1 and a part 2.
Like that door opened up, you used to walk right into.
Thank you. But yeah, this show is interesting. When before the show started, I think you had said this is one of the ones you were most looking forward to because they could kind of go any places. And I'm watching it now, and I'm kind of just like, huh. Like I'll keep watching because it's Marvel, and I don't hate it, but I'm not loving it.
Really?
Not really. I'm just kind of like, and I guess that's just what the Marvel shows are doing. They feed you this piecemeal thing. You kind of have to because you're a TV show as opposed to a movie. But I need like some big things that happen here in like 5 and 6.
Really?
I do.
I'm the very opposite.
Okay.
I was very scared about this show.
Yeah.
Because Marvel has, in my opinion, a lot of people are like, well, because I said Marvel hasn't had a big loss yet. Marvel hasn't creatively fell flat on its face.
Yeah.
And a lot of people pointed out, well, Inhumans was the television. It's all still the MCU. Because you can't say that the Inhumans and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. don't live in the MCU. Because...
As somebody who loves Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I agree with you, but I feel like Kevin Feige's like, maybe not. Because sometimes it seems like he don't care about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think...
definitely not Inhumans, but sometimes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff like...
The reason why I say this is because the one key element that I think what saves them, that allows Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still to be in continuity with MCU, is Coulson is still there. And if Coulson wasn't on the show, and they weren't talking about bringing Coulson back into the movies, then I would agree with that.
Okay.
But the fact that just because Jeff Loeb did it and screwed it up, I still feel like those elements still exist in this.
Sure.
And the Inhumans, not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., are kind of the missteps that the MCU has done. I thought Loki was going to be one of them. I like Loki more than I like WandaVision.
Okay.
At this point.
Okay.
Because episode 3 for WandaVision, it wasn't until episode 4.
I feel like maybe
4
4
was
or
when
5.
that whole
something happened.
Yeah. Big. I could be mistaken. I really like Loki.
Okay.
I really love Tom Hiddleston. Watching him go through.
Tom Hiddleston is carrying it. He's great. I like the dynamic between him and Owen Wilson a lot. I'm happy that I'm happy because Gugu and About the Raws out here on TV. I just like to see her on TV. So
Should have watched the morning show.
I did watch the morning show.
No, you didn't. You watched the first episode.
That's what I had available. I don't have Apple TV, sir.
You just bought a new iPhone. You have Apple TV.
I haven't decided to.
Sorry.
I am waiting until the last possible time so that all the content will be there.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I was
so
like,
I will get to
you
it.
You have Apple TV.
I just haven't. I haven't hit the thing yet.
Like, that's what I was about to, I was like, no, correct.
Yes. Because I want to see.
Well,
that.
actually,
and I also want to see Ted Lasso. I heard Ted Lasso was very good.
I only got to the 4 episodes before our free thing ended.
Okay.
We watched. Not to go on a tangent. Morning show was very good. We watched that together. She watched she liked the singing show from the Bob's Burgers people. Okay. And I'm trying to think of a couple other things we watched too, but it was okay. I wish I'd have kept it because The Foundation is coming out September the 24th, and that was the only reason why I wanted Apple TV. Okay. So,
I'll let you use my thing.
You have it, sir.
There we go. Okay. Anyway, what are we talking about?
Loki.
Not Apple TV, Loki. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just happy to see more Gugu and About the Raw. I really liked her in Undercovers. Man, I keep talking about her all the time. She was on Doctor Who.
Yeah, she's a fill in the blank adjective in this show. I don't like her.
Interesting.
I hate her.
I would argue that maybe that's the character, though, right?
I disliked her in the beginning only because I thought she was aloof and not really with it.
Oh, she's with it.
I now hate her.
Interesting.
Like, objectively. I didn't feel this way about Thanos.
All right.
No, because let me tell you why.
Yeah. Do we need to get into spoilers? Because I'm curious why you hate her that much.
Because just the evolution of the character and realizing what she has done. I'm like, oh. Okay. You disgust me.
Okay.
And maybe there's some type of redemption at the end of this arc.
Yeah.
But I haven't felt this visceral about a character in the MCU in a while.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. Shout out to Wunmi Masaka. Wunmi Masaka? Yeah. She is.
Is that what you said first?
It was. I said Wumu. I apologize.
You did.
Hunter B-15, maybe? One of the hunters.
Yes, it was Hunter B-15.
I like her. I liked her in Lovecraft Country. Again, I've talked about I liked her on that show. I like her on the show, the BBC show Ghost. Mm-hmm. So I'm just happy that she's doing more American stuff that we get to see her. And I like where that character's going. And the arc, you talk about people having arcs, I feel like she's kind of undergoing something.
Well, I think
from working for the establishment to wherever she's going now. Or
I think both. I didn't watch Ghost, but I love the fact of seeing someone like her on TV is one, wonderful. Two, seeing her actually get to act and not be a sidekick, a best friend, and not to be those tropes that we see a lot of black women be.
Sure.
I think is powerful, but also the fact that her story is so integral from Lovecraft Country, because she was a huge part of Lovecraft Country. Like, she had her own episode where you just like,
these is bloody shoes.
Like, not just like, where do you go? And you in these two episodes that you've seen, you kind of get the same thing of like this awakening for this character, and you're kind of wondering, where does she go from here? Mm-hmm. And I'm along for the ride. That's why I really like Loki, only for the very fact of, in a lot of the MCU, you kind of knew if you read the comics where they were going. You knew what kind of beats. You knew, like, spoiler alert, how many people knew one of the big three were going to die in Endgame? You knew, like, you mm-hmm. knew either Captain America, Iron Man, maybe Thor. You knew one of those three were going to kick the bucket. Mm-hmm. In this show, Loki, you don't know what's going to happen next, because there's no, we're cherry picking different plot points, but you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if your homegirl is going to make it, or she's really as evil as I think she can be. Mm-hmm. You don't know if the TVA is a real organization or some made up timeline, or if the timekeepers are really good guys mm-hmm. preserving the sacred timeline, or is there really a supervillain behind all of this? You don't know. And
Mephisto!
I mean,
just throw it out there.
I mean, that's
what the internet always saying.
Remember, they were saying that for WandaVision.
Yeah.
So that's why I like the show, because every episode I'm like, what are you gonna do?
Okay. Do you feel like there's a chance that all this is gonna be for nothing and nothing really gets answered?
No.
Okay.
Well, I think this adds another layer to the fact of that there's a multiverse.
Okay.
I think that I like the idea that we've introduced time travel with Endgame, with Ant-Man and the Wasp. I like that we've introduced these different ideas that people, because let's be honest, the MCU is probably the largest franchise out right now. So a lot of these concepts are foreign to people. Mm-hmm. A multiverse isn't something that is common. Like, your mom. Does your mom know what a multiverse is? I bet you she watched enough of this. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so introducing those concepts.
Did I tell you that she saw, what was the movie with Gerard Butler and he was saving the president? The trilogy of movies?
Yeah, the Washington.
Something was fallen.
Yeah, Olympus has fallen.
What was it? What? London has fallen?
Olympus has fallen, London has fallen, and
Angel has fallen.
Angel has fallen.
She saw the second one,
mm-hmm.
not realizing it was a sequel.
Really?
Yeah, and was just so excited that there was a first one. Totally random tangent, but that's my mom. She's like, this movie's great.
Yeah.
There's a sequel. What? But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, but think about it. Like, that's your mom. Like, that's usually a lot of our parents.
Yeah.
So introducing the concept of a multiverse, mm-hmm. of multiple different dimensions, time travel, you're easing people into that stuff. So when you bring in Doctor Strange, the multiverse of madness, when you bring in Kang, when you bring in eventually the Fantastic Four, who are going to play with multiple dimensions, times, all of these different high open-minded science fiction concepts.
Yeah.
I love Loki for that.
Okay. I hope Loki can stick the landing. I will say, as much as I enjoyed WandaVision and Winter Falcon.
No,
might as well Captain America and Winter Soldier at this point, whatever you call it.
It's Winter Cap.
We're not doing it. No. Anyway, as much as I enjoyed those two shows,
You know, when we meet Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, I'm going to tell him that. I was like, you know what your show's called,
yeah,
right?
friends of the show. Can't wait to meet you. But yeah, those shows kind of ended. I felt like the ending was okay. I don't know if it was a solid 10 out of 10 landing for those two shows. And I'm worried the Loki might be the same. But again, I don't know. I'm definitely on for the ride, but I'm kind of just like, Loki needs to go somewhere.
All right, let's get some spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. I like Lady Loki.
I really enjoy her, but I need more.
Okay.
So the introduction of Sylvie to me was great in the sense of you thought she was going to be this evil, just malevolent force. Mm-hmm. And Marvel has done a good job of making their villains very sympathetic. Mm-hmm. And I would wager she is actually not the main villain of this show.
Oh, for sure.
And
I feel like it might be the TVA, right? Or the girl that you hate now, Gugu.
I don't think. I think whoever's behind the TVA. Mm-hmm. I think the Time Lords or the Time Bandits or whoever.
Don't call them Time Lords, so that's trademarked. Unless we're doing Doctor Who watch, don't you call them Time Lords?
The Time Lords.
Don't
the
you?
Space Lizards.
Whovians. Come at them. Come at them.
Come at me.
But yeah.
Whoever is behind, because I don't. After this episode, you're questioning, are they even real? Mm-hmm. And now you're like, so y'all just Chuck E. Cheese this? Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting how this show is developed from, hey, we're this mild-mannered organization protecting and saving the sacred timeline, to being, oh, you people are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, this is a nerd question for you. Are the TVA ever like antagonists in the comics?
I mean, they play different roles.
Okay.
Depends on who writes them. That's why I said it's so funny that they are such a prominent role in this, mm-hmm. because when you think of like organizations in Marvel,
you're not thinking of TVA.
You're not.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, AIM's a bigger threat.
Okay.
Like AIM and the Scientist Supreme. I mean, when I think of major threats, or people who are just wrecking shop and just pissing off everybody, I think of AIM, Hydra, I think of the Hand. Mm-hmm. The TVA is kind of like, yeah, they exist, but they're not like...
Yeah.
Unless you're like... Really,
are they like the Observers in Fringe?
No.
Okay.
The Observers don't interfere. Okay. TVA interferes, as we can see.
Got it.
And you mean the Watchers?
I thought they were the Observers.
The Watchers, the guys with big heads?
No, because I talked about Fringe, the Observers.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. See, kind of, but the difference with the Observers are, they were evil.
I mean, eventually they turned out to be.
Yeah, like...
I mean, I blame the
Bishop
family.
Spoiler alert, season 5 of Fringe.
I feel like the Bishop family made that happen, though. They kept messing with stuff. And the Observers like, hey, we got to right this wrong because y'all doing too much.
True, but you could have done it a different way, man.
They was trying. Peter Bishop always got to mess up with something.
Whoa! Don't leave that at Peter's footsteps.
All right,
that's more his dad's fault.
I mean, you're right.
I
can't remember who Leonard Nimoy's character name was, but him and Leonard Nimoy was.
Don't blame Peter. Like, let's be honest, that was Walter's.
Okay.
Walter and Leonard Nimoy, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Those two, they wreck a time.
Yeah.
A time stream. Anyway.
Okay.
I don't know, because I'll be honest with you, they were more footnotes when I read comics. But again, I mainly read X-Men. I read a lot of Avengers. I was mainly in the Captain America and X-Men family. I did read a lot of Fantastic Four, but not as much as I probably need to.
Okay.
I didn't read a lot of Thor. They weren't really big in Spider-Man. I read a lot of that. So it just depends on what kind of family you're reading. But they, to me, were more of a nuisance than malevolent, evil organizations. And we could be characterizing them wrong.
Yeah.
It could be that they are this great organization, that's just been corrupted like everything else gets.
Sure. I did like the reveal of these animatronic robots. Like I am definitely like, what is happening now? I really liked Loki getting pruned and like, where's he going? Oh, there's 3 other Lokis here. All right.
Oh, you mean at the end?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was great.
Richard Grant.
Yeah, I was like,
as the original Loki with the horns and the suit.
Yeah.
Son, when I saw that, I was in.
Okay.
And then they had Kid Loki. Marvel.
Who was the black gentleman?
So
Is there a black Loki?
There's a bunch of Lokis.
Okay, sure.
So
why not?
in the time stream, I forget what they call it. There's like different versions of all kind of Loki. So there's just like oh man. Anyway, I don't know much about the black one, but Kid Loki from Journey into the Mystery, wonderful series, and Richard T. Grant?
I think it's Richard T. Grant.
Richard T. Grant 1 is a phenomenal actor. He was the best part of Rise of Skywalker, I would say.
Okay.
One of the highlights. Oh, he plays an awesome villain. But to see him in the original Loki getup, with the horns, I have some of the original Marvel cards when Loki is a trickster. Like, I love Tom Hiddleston, but that's not the original Marvel Comics evil Loki,
right?
Who just will stab you just to see you bleed.
Just
cause. Like this Loki you would hang out with.
Okay, yeah.
Richard T. Grant's Loki, you don't want to hang out.
Away.
You don't want to hang out with him. Like,
shout out to Jamie Alexander coming back to be Lady Sif for a little bit.
Hopefully she'll be in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I was like, that's interesting that she's still there because we know the character. I mean, to be fair, this is a time construct, so they could have brought anybody back. But it's nice that they reference, hey, she's here, and we know she didn't die like the Warriors 3, how they got destroyed. So yeah,
destroyed, man. They got wrecked.
Hell, just throwing out swords, daggers. Oh, it's horrible.
No, I know you are not sold on the show so far. I love it because you're getting to see Tom Hiddleston. Because remember, a lot of people, I don't know if they didn't know this or they don't. Tom Hiddleston originally applied
for Captain America?
Yeah. No,
or for somebody.
For
Thor. Okay.
He originally wanted to be Thor.
Okay.
And they were like, nah, we got this other role for you. And it worked out.
It worked out, yeah.
But the thing is, because you can see the screen test.
Okay.
Then you can go online, you can see some of the screen tests of him auditioning for Thor, some of the casting. Okay. And I don't know how that would have worked out. He might have done a good job. He can be a leading man. We saw in Kong Monkey Island.
Leave that monkey alone.
I won't.
Your Godzilla already destroyed him. You ain't got to do it again. You don't have to leave that monkey alone.
Godzilla came for that ass. Woo! I will never let y'all forget. But Tom Hiddleston to me, can pull off the leading man.
That rumor about him being Bond? Sure, why not?
I would be happy.
I would watch him as a Bond.
Yeah. Because there's a show, there's a movie called High Rise.
I've seen it pop up on Netflix every week.
It's I want to say John Ballard wrote the book. Very good in that. I mean, I feel like he can carry a franchise, and obviously he can do it. So I'm enjoying seeing him as Loki, but I'm enjoying seeing him outside of being the trickster. I'm enjoying seeing him develop as a human being, so to speak.
So theories time, a couple theories. Before episode 4 happened, and it could maybe still be a thing, maybe not.
With Lamentus on you talk about
episode 3. Yeah.
Episode 3, okay.
So Sylvie talked about how her powers work. Mm-hmm. They kind of have to have almost like a crack or something in their psyche, and she can kind of get into them, and she kind of makes them replay their memories and stuff.
Well, she can use they have to have something already there. She can't create memories.
Right. At one point, I thought this was going to be a big elaborate ruse, and somehow Loki kept saying, "You never got me." I thought at the end it was going to be, "Oh, you've been in this whole illusion this whole time." Apparently, that's probably not going to happen based on what we have, but that was just a thought I thought was going to happen.
My question is, because it seemed it's a lot of people liked episode 1 and 2, mm-hmm. and they felt like it had a lot of setup, and then people were like episode 3, and because it's funny. So we talked about the reason why I brought up Godzilla and King Kong Have you seen the meme of King Ghidorah where the two heads are like really like fierce, and then that third head, that one that got ripped off and comes back, it's kind of like googly eyed.
No.
So there's a meme going out. So so King Ghidorah, episode 1 is the good head, 2 good head.
Oh.
Episode 3 is the,
okay.
And then episode 4 is like Godzilla when he's all lavaed up and he's like about the radiation.
Yeah.
And they're like, episode 4 is Godzilla.
Okay.
I feel like episode 3 is getting a bad rap because you needed episode 3 to get to 4.
Sure.
You needed that.
It was a good setup.
Thank you. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I personally liked the interaction between him and Sylvie. Mm-hmm. Basically the end of the world kind of thing. Seeing him because if you think about it, Loki doesn't plan. And when you really think about it, he's kind of just jumping from event to event to event, because Owen Wilson said it to him, and then he said it himself, are Loki's doomed to fail. Mm-hmm. And it's also because of how they handle things, or how he handles things. So like, perfect example, Sylvie had a plan to get on the train. Mm-hmm. Sylvie was like, we need to lay low, and what did Tom Hiddleston's Loki do?
He's like, I'm out here drinking and dancing and singing everybody.
He drew attention to themselves. They got kicked off the train.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have if they'd had stuck to a plan or worked together. Mm-hmm. And that technically was his fault. Now, Sylvie has been on the run since we found out a child.
Yeah.
And
I think that was cool also to see Ramona?
Who's?
Gugu.
Whatever her name is, I just
starts with an R. The evil lady.
I call her.
Yeah, it was interesting.
The words I use are not that.
It was interesting to see her as one of the Minutemen, and I guess she got promoted or whatever.
I mean, that's usually how these organizations work.
Yeah, but it just adds more backstory to that character. So it was cool to see her, and then they took the girl. I was like, oh no, interesting. Yeah.
The thing that we haven't talked about was the big reveal, and my biggest problem is that it wasn't.
Which reveal?
The big reveal that everybody in the TV is a variant. And
it didn't seem like it hit that hard the way it was delivered.
Not that it didn't hit that hard. They didn't do a good job of explaining what Loki just realized and what she said. Mm-hmm. And the fact of that. And also, how did she come to that conclusion? How did she realize? We know that she explained it through the memories, but there had to have been like this moment where she realized they're all variants, or they're not who they are appearing to be. Right. And my biggest problem is what happened to all those other timelines when she threw explosives, because she had a great setup. Mm-hmm. When the sacred timeline splintered off, I want to know what happened to all those branches. And 2, I want to know what it is that made, and I hope we get it, but what is it that made all of these people variants that said, you have, like, if both of us are sitting here, mm-hmm. and the door opens up and they snatch one of us, why that person? Sure. Because Ramona, as you call her, couldn't tell us. I think it's Ramona. She couldn't tell us. Right. Or she didn't want to. Right. And that's what I want to know. That's the one thing that I think that they didn't explain very well, but we have 2 episodes left. Right. So I'm hoping we get that revelation. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest gripe. Okay.
So episode 5 will be next week along with Black Widow, and then episode 6 the week after. And then I guess what's next? Is it What If? Is it Hawkeye? Yeah. Hawkeye. What If? Okay. Yeah. So Marvel just keeps steadily moving along in their little calendar of releases. So.
I mean, they've done a very good job of saying, hey, here's our lineup. Here's basically feeding you little by little, mm-hmm. to flesh out this app that they've been planning for years. And I feel like they have done a better job than anyone else, because everyone else, whether it be Netflix or HBO Max, has just a deluge of stuff, and it's not easily searchable. Yeah. Whereas, and a lot of it is name brand, you know, we have Godzilla, King of, you know, all, you have that. Mm-hmm. But it isn't like broken down like Marvel does, where like, I click on this, here's everything here. Mm-hmm. They have done an excellent job. And once again, Loki, the premiere, has done gangbusters as far as viewers. Yeah. So I'm on board for the whole ride. Okay. But I would really like to know, did they make up Lamentus 1, or was that really a cataclysmic event in the MCU? Or in Marvel Comics? I hadn't figured it out yet. Cool.
Y'all let us know. Well, I'm sure you will let us know if that is a thing that has happened.
Well, actually,
leave your comments below here in the YouTube channel. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com. I think that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to know when we put in the videos. We out.